Today's video isn't a haul, it's not me advertising fancy new stock, and it's not a hype piece. It's all about boundaries, because I've been reselling now for 4 or 5 years, and in all my time reselling, I've only ever had to say this once. This is the worst customer that I've ever dealt with. If you don't know me, or you've come across me for the first time, my name is Ben, also known as the Yorkshire Flipper, and I do eBay Live on eBay. Now, this particular customer joined one of my lives, one of my very first lives actually. Usually my lives are good vibes, we always have a laugh, people chatting about clothes. But recently, one buyer decided to cross the line. I want to talk about it, not to shame anybody, but to explain that this behaviour is not okay, and why not just sellers but people who put themselves out there online need to protect themselves. During the live, this person entered and the comments started off quite weird, but subtle. Those little remarks about my appearance, about my moustache, about my personality. And at first I did brush them off. I'm quite thick-skinned, I'm from Yorkshire, and I can take banter. However, the comments started to become quite sexual. They became personal. And they became persistent. Now, to me, that's the point where it stops being banter. Things slowly started to escalate. So the live finished, and the very same buyer that was sending these messages ended up buying one of the items during the live, the very last item. I think I sold around 40 items on this live, and 39 of them paid for the items instantly. Guess which one didn't? So a day passes and I don't hear anything from this person, which, if I'm being honest, I'm quite thankful for. However, I get a message, and in that message, there's a request for my WhatsApp, a request for my phone number, and also some suggestions to meet up in person. I clearly said no, and I said that communication needed to stay on eBay. And instead of respecting that, the messages escalated. Insults, pressure, and more attempts to meet up. That's when it stopped being awkward and I started to feel quite unsafe. I've got a family, I've got a home, and no sale is worth compromising that. I sent one final message setting a clear boundary, and that the messages were unacceptable and I would not be responding to anything further. They stated they still wanted the item, or in their words, you better send the item. From there, I blocked the buyer, I reported the buyer to eBay, and I cancelled the order, even though eBay told me not to cancel the order and to still go ahead with sending the item. I'll also say this honestly, part of this is on me. I should have called it out sooner. I should have shut it down the moment they crossed the line. And that's something I said I would do differently going forward, and I have been doing differently. So what I've changed as a seller. So I've now changed my setup, so my home address is not visible. I've tightened how I run my lives, and I'm clear about what isn't acceptable in the chat. And I haven't done this because I'm fragile, I'm not. I've done it because professionalism matters. So this is my message to other sellers, or other people who put themselves online. You don't owe anyone access to you. You don't owe anybody banter, and you don't owe anyone your safety for the sake of a sale. I wasn't going to make this video because it's been a few weeks now and I've not heard anything since. This person hasn't been able to come into my lives, and I'd say the dust is pretty much settled. At the time, I was extremely upset. I felt like I'd done something wrong. This video isn't about drama, it's all about respect. And hopefully it helps someone else feel confident enough to say no sooner than I did. If you've experienced something similar, then please let me know in the comments below respectfully. And if you're here for the reselling content, do not worry. The next video, we're back to flipping. Speaking of flipping, happy flipping.
Five, four, three, two, one.
So today's video isn't a haul. Jesus Christ.